Hey guys, Dan here for Programmer Basics, and today we are going to do the very basic Hello World. This is a very simple program known to most programmers. It's a really good way to just start off programming because it teaches you some very basic things in and of itself. Especially in Visual Basic, it does teach you some simple things. So we're going to be coding Hello World inside Visual Basic. I'm going to show you the basic way to do it, and then if the video is quite short, I might have to show you some other things you can do further on from that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click New Project, and we're going to name our project Hello World. I will be getting a new keyboard soon, hopefully, so that will mean less typos, the type of keyboard it is. And we're going to create this on the desktop just because I'm probably going to use this for this video. And then we're going to click create the project. Hopefully this won't take too long. I've fixed the audio since the last video, however now my computer runs a little bit slower when it is recording. Well, a fair lot slower. So you'll notice that things start happening differently. Therefore, at the moment, Visual Studio has crashed. Well, clearly I fixed the issue quite a lot, because last time it crashed for about 2 minutes and I ended up having to stop the recording. But here we are. So we're into Hello World. So you have the form one here, and if you haven't already, then go ahead and watch the first video I did, and that was a welcome to Visual Studio. And then now this is the Hello World, so this is the second video. I might have to start numbering them, but I'm not quite sure yet. I probably won't enable the first one, but it will be the first video on the channel. But yes, so first thing we need to do is we need to rename the form, or the first thing we should do. And so this will be FRM, and we'll just call this one main, just because it's going to be one form. It's going to be the main form, and then hopefully Visual Studio will pop up and ask us to rename everything else, and then Visual Studio is very nice and it will go through and do all that for us. Now we want to put some text to the form, so we're just going to have Hello World. So up in the top there, I just pointed to it in real life, it says Hello World, so I'm going to save that. Now we need something for the user to do to prompt the computer to do something for us. That came out completely wrong. We need a trigger for the user to press or pull, and then we will say Hello World. So the best trigger in computers is obviously a button, so we'll put a button on. You can put this anywhere, doesn't matter. All the deep code is all done by Visual Studio, so it doesn't matter where we drag it, and that will set everything up for us. So the text on the button could be click me, if I could type properly. And then the name of the button would be btn click. Now if we double click on the button, this brings us into the code of Visual Basic. And this will bring us into something called a private sub. Basically it's a private subroutine, and private subroutines generally have an area which they handle, and that area is based on one of these many actions on a specific item. So you can scroll through those if you like. So in this case, the button click, this is the subroutine of button click, and what that means is that when the button is clicked, it runs all of the code we put into here. So I'm just going to open up properly. Oh, that's weird. Oh, right, okay. So now, when the user clicks this, we want to open up an input, probably, to get the user's name. So we want to open up a message box, which is MSG box. I'm not even kidding you, I've genuinely mind blanked on the code I used, because since I last did this Hello World, I've edited the code and now to use a text box, whereas it used to use an input box. So I'm pretty sure you can just do Hello World. Well, for Hello World, we just do this. Sorry, I'm making this too complicated. More complicated than it needs to be. So now if you click start, your computer will crash. I'm kidding, my computer will crash. And so we give it a few seconds, minutes, hours, days, years. Really? Years? Anyway. And then the program opens up, obviously on my other monitor, and we click the button, and it says hello world. I was expecting that message on my other monitor. And now we can just keep clicking that button and we can spam it if we want. There you go, program works. That's hello world. Hello world in a nutshell. MSG box is short for message box. And to use message box or MSG box, all you have to do is type MSG box, open bracket, close bracket, and then anything inside there will show inside the message box. Sorry, got a fly in my face. Anyway, anything inside there will show in that message box. So later on you'll start to learn about having strings and decimal places and bytes and all this sort of all of the variables. So if it was a variable, we would just put the name of the variable like this. But because it's not a variable, if it's something that's not already stored on the computer, we have to open and close speech marks and then type in anything we want in there. And if we run that now, it runs through from top to bottom. So if I bring hello world over and click it, it runs through from top hello world to bottom to the yeah. And so now we can close that away. So that's how message boxes work. You just put inside what you wish to do. Now we can make this a little bit more complicated, and we can do hello world full stop, and then you can use this little and symbol, I can't remember what it's actually called, and you can do something that's referred to as concatenating, which basically means joining together two things inside the input, the message box. So now we could do input box. I'll explain this one in a second as well. Enter your name, and then we could concatenate that along with what would you put? So at the moment it would say hello world Dan. I could put you smell. Like that. I don't know how this code will work, or if it will work I should say, so we'll see. It may crash out, I can't remember exactly how I've coded it before. Oh dear, I did it on the wrong monitor. Okay, so here we are. It pops up, enter your name. I'll put Dan. And then it says over here, hello world, Dan, you smell. And that's concatenating, so you can bring together variables and bring together different speeches or whatever there is. I don't know the word for what it's called inside there. Anything that's into speech marks, but you can bring those together to create yourself two different sentences, and you can join them together. So you can bring together a variable with your own words. So now, if you don't know already, you can annotate by using an apostrophe like that. I think it's called an apostrophe. No. What's it called? It's like a speech mark, but there's only one of them. Sorry, I'm not one for English. It might be an apostrophe. And now we could do something a little bit more complicated now. Hopefully I can try and get you to understand this now, but if not, never mind. So we can use something called dim, which creates an area in the memory of your computer, so in the RAM, it creates an area to store something. And then we put the name of what we want to store, so a string, we can short to str, and a string is basically, can store any letters, any numbers, any keys on your keyboard, other than the function keys and those keys around, like control and shift and caps lock and tab and all of those ones, but any other key it can store. So we can have str name, and then we have to put as, and then what sort of variable is it. So there are bytes, there are strings, there are decimals, there are integers, What else are there? And there are arrays, although arrays are slightly different. So let's say as a string. And so now it gets a little green line, and that basically means that it's something that isn't broken in the program. So the program should still run fine, but we haven't, it doesn't think that what we've done makes any sense. So when I say dim str name, it doesn't think, it's like, why are you dimming this? You haven't used it. So the program will still run fine, it will still do what I want it to do, but it won't do anything. It won't, it's just putting an empty place in the memory basically. And so now it wants us to use that. So now we could put an input box, or well, first we say str name, so our string can be equal to an input box. I'll go over the input box in just a second. Oh, pause the video. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry about that. I just had to answer the door. So we'd put input box, and we would have input box, enter your name, as before. And then we could have message box or MSG box, and then we could say hello. Oh, hello. And to bring it together, str name, like so. So now if I run that program, it opens up on my other monitor again. I click it, enter your name, I put Dan. Hello, Dan. So there we go, guys. That's the basic explanation of hello world and message boxes and input boxes. So just quickly, an input box. Input boxes are quite simple. All you have to do is write input box and open the brackets for them. And then inside here, like with the message box, you can open speech marks to type in something new, and then close them at the end, and then close the bracket. And then it will take the input, and you can see here, like I've made it equal something. So it will take the input and feed that through as to what the string should equal. And with strings, I know I only went over it really quickly, but you can make strings and bytes and decimals. Bytes hold numbers up to 255, decimals hold numbers up to some stupidly high number, etc, etc. So this is just a really simple Hello World program that I just wanted to get the first one out, and hopefully you enjoyed. I am hitting my 15-minute YouTube cap at the moment because I've used my phone number with too many things or something like that. Some weird thing YouTube showing me. So hopefully now you guys can have your first program. Feel free to leave any comments down below if you have any questions, because I might have rushed some of this stuff, especially after answering the door. I kind of lost my thought flow at that point. But I'll have to thank you guys for watching now, and hopefully you learned something from this. And hopefully this shows that I can remember how to do Hello World, and I have done much more complicated things than this, so I was surprised that this tripped me up. Anyway guys, I'd like to thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, especially comment, and I'll see you next time.